Morning.
Good morning. I need to bring my microphone closer here. I got all these drinks going on, and always like right before the event, there's like all these people asking questions, and it always gets a little bit hectic.
Yep. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Connie.
I'm donating my blood.
She didn't want to miss the event. She wants to hear you, Teresa.
Oh, how
Yep.
lovely.
Okay, let's
Yep.
get to business before we have more people coming. You
Yep.
sent me 2 slides. Are you wanting me to show both or the one that has your name on it?
Yeah, just the one that I think would be the banner kind of one, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know what fits on the Zoom. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's not
no,
my forte.
no, that one is really good. Let me, I'm gonna share from the current slide, come back here. This one,
Yeah,
perfect. Perfect.
awesome.
And hold on, I'm just going back to the beginning of it so that I can, from the beginning, okay, and now I'm gonna do a share again, but with the sound. Okay. Okay, we're ready to go. You have great light,
Woohoo!
background. You are good to go.
Awesome. Gonna be fun.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think we're gonna get like a dozen people. So this is the first
Oh.
time I do it on a Sunday morning. Of course, being a good Catholic girl that hasn't gone to church for 40 years, I was like, I wonder if people like that would be a good time, right? And one thing I've learned is never assume anything. You assume that nobody's going to come on a Sunday morning because it's
Yeah.
family day, but this is going to be, we're going to have really good attendance. So,
That's lovely.
yeah. So, testing everything.
Well, that's right. And every time will be different, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say quickly, you'll be getting a message from me. So with this, for the premier members, so what I've decided to do is we're going to meet every first Monday of the month.
Oh, okay.
At like 7. I think
Mhm.
I'm gonna pick. I think 7's a good time. 6:30 sometime can be tight for some people.
Right.
So first Monday of the month, and then you also get and I'll put that in the email. If you can't make the one coming up, it'll be the next one. But you can also book a meeting with me at any time.
Awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool.
But things are growing slowly. I'm like 15 away from 100.
Oh, congratulations.
I know. Well, we're still far away from my goal of 5,000, but it's coming slowly but
It's coming.
surely.
Yeah.
Oh, there is Terry. That's wonderful. Terry is, I don't know if it's first time you're attending. Good morning, Terry, if you can hear us. Oh, her audio is connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just asking me how to connect.
Oh, good. Good. I haven't seen her for a while, so it's awesome.
Oh, so you know Terry. That's right, because she's in Canmore.
That's right. That's right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it'd be lovely. I'm glad she's doing it.
I'm getting ready for my trip.
Oh, yeah. When are you leaving, Connie?
May 18th. I'm walking the Via Francigena from London now to Rome. And I don't know French, but American Sign Language is 60% from French Sign Language, so I'll be able to communicate in signs.
Awesome.
Very good. Good morning, Terry. I think you can hear us now.
Hi, I made it. I got in. I figured it out.
Hi
Woo!
there.
Yeah, we used to get our ticket a little bit differently for members, and I had a video for that one. And then when you emailed me this morning, I thought, oh yeah, I haven't made it, because we assume everybody knows how, but there's a few steps to take. So I'll be doing my video later on today.
Thank you. Great.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But you did register because you're on the list of registered people.
Yes, yeah, that part was okay. I just couldn't find the link where I was coming in on the
me
link.
too.
So once you sent me
too.
that link, then I was good. Plus, I have a new computer and the Zoom wasn't set up on it yet.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
just a few stumbling blocks.
Yeah, I usually restart my computer before I do an event, but I try to do it like the morning of like a couple hours, because sometimes you get an update. But this morning I was last minute and I just restarted right before we started here. I'm just going to mute Connie. Connie, I'm
Let me just turn
muting
off
you.
this radio here in the background too. Hey, Google.
Oh, actually, it wasn't
off the
even
radio.
you that, yeah, it was Terry that had the sound. Yeah. And anyway, so I thought, oh, I sure hope there is no updates, because this is going to be intense.
Skipping close.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There we go. People are going to start arriving. So we always, just so you know, Teresa, we always start with the videos. So in a couple of minutes, I'm going to put the screen up and we're going to wait for everybody to log on, and then we'll start the video.
Sure.
So if you need a drink or anything, you got 5 minutes.
Time to do it. Awesome.
And I'm just going to get this up here. Just in case you're wondering, everyone is muted for now until after the story with Teresa, and then we'll get everybody to unmute. We will have an open mic session where you can share your story or your thoughts and ideas about the topic. We will be starting in 5 minutes, 4 minutes. We have about 3 minutes and we'll be starting. Let me start my video. I was like, oh, I forgot to start my video. Good morning, everyone. We're going to slowly start here as people are still logging on. It is Sunday morning. I hope you've already at least 1 cup of coffee, maybe 2 or 3, and you are ready to go. Oh, somebody's putting the 5 fingers. That's a lot of coffee, Connie. Welcome to Women Talk Online. You know, these online events are starting to really be fun for me. We have had members that have spoken from all over Canada, do we have anybody speak from BC yet? I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I know all the way to the East Coast, in the US, in England, Budapest, or wonderful tribe is definitely growing, and that is very exciting for me. This morning's speaker is Teresa Engel. Now, Teresa has spoken at Women Talk when we had a Women Talk 1.0 previous to COVID. And I am so happy to have her as a premier member. We're going to be expanding all the wonderful things we do, and to have a member like her on my team is absolutely amazing. Now, let me just get this. My name is Bridget Lessardiel. I am the founder of Women Talk, just in case you didn't know. And I'm an MC, I'm a storyteller, and I am madly in love with my company, with Women Talk, and with our incredible community that we're growing. It is so much fun. If you're interested in becoming a member, the membership is $10 a month. That's my little infomercial, by the way. It's only $10 a month. And that's like a Starbucks coffee now, because by the time you give a tip and pay the gas to get there, boom, there goes $10. And with that $10, you get to attend all of our online events for free. We have an event pretty much every week where we have our featured storyteller, and then we have open mic. Well, you can share your thoughts and stories about the topic. Today's topic is about second chances. That's a very interesting topic. I have a couple of great questions that will get the conversation going. This is some of our members. We're getting really close to our 100 members. So come and join us, womentalk.ca, and you'll find all the information there. My quote of the day is from Maya Angelou. I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better. I thought that was kind of my favorite quote in regards to second chances. So without any delay, please help me welcome our featured storyteller today, Teresa Engel. Everybody, let's do our Zoom hands and give her a big welcome. Woo-woo! Teresa, the floor is yours.
Wow. You've unmuted me, right?
Yep, we can hear you.
Awesome. Well, this is quite something for me to be talking again. I haven't done this for a couple of years, and I'm going, yeah, I'm going to stick it into my big girl panties and get this done. But I love the topic. And I think as soon as it came out that day, I went, okay, I think this one's for me. And it's interesting how events happen around us, or we have those nudges we feel or see or hear. For myself, I hear that they're for us, even though we don't see them as important sometimes. Like this theme for the day, the second chances. It's something I know a little bit about. You see, I sometimes refer to myself as the queen of beginning again, starting over, taking second chances. That is me. And like things that happened this week, the new moon in Aries, again, giving us a second chance. The energy of the eclipse that points us towards, more directly towards our karmic path, so my astrological friends tell me. And then there's a Mercury retrograde that whew, wow, it was big for me this week. I mean, we had our car in the shop all week. It was craziness. But it's really an opportunity. It's an opportunity to revisit things and people, events, experiences from the past. Or like what happened to me on Friday morning. I woke up from a dream Friday morning. It was one of the worst dreams I can remember. I woke up just shaking. I was almost fierce. I was overwhelmed, frightened. I had been questioning my whole self-worth, and it was really upsetting me to the core. But all of these events and my dream really caused me to take pause before I presented here today to figure out the best result for the talk today. I needed some clarity and I needed some confirmation about what my talk was really pointing towards. I figure I'm pretty clever, but I can't outwit myself all the time. So one of the best ways I know of to help me gain clarity and confirmation is just kind of, okay, surrender to it, and I go and do breath work. So I lay down to breathe, and just by breathing is how I found the new level of my story, My Yellow Boots. And it's a more true and more honest story. And it goes like this. So let me tell you, first of all, how I came to have yellow boots and how they became mine. I was living in Canmore. Lots of friends from Canmore. Hi, Terry. The place that had called to me to go to heal after one of the leaps in my life, divorce. I'll talk about that later. Now, while I lived there, I often walked downtown and I would wander through the shops, many shops on Main Street. But if you know Main Street, Canmore, and if you love shoes, you know about Gingerella. Now, I don't even know if it's still there, but when I lived there, there was this wonderful little shop. So it was a wintry day, and I wandered into Gingerella. And oh, the shoes, the beautiful shoes. Now, you know, living in Canmore, about the only thing I needed were hikers and winter boots. I didn't have any real use for fancy shoes. And I'll admit, I do own a few pair of their fancier shoes. But this day, as I often did, is I'd wander to the back of the store to check out the sales. Now, as I was walking through the store and directing myself towards the back, I kind of got a glimpse of what was over there. And there was loafers, and there was some fancy high heels and bags. But what was drawing me in were a pair of yellow bogs. One pair, just my size. And remember, I had no real use for rainy day boots. Were there in Canmore, it was hikers and snow boots. But where I grew up, we called them gum boots. And we even had a fancier name for them, Coaldale cowboy boots, named after a small town, and I hope nobody takes offense, but it was the farmers who came to town in their gum boots, and we kind of coined this phrase. So the rational me, the Capricorn me, said, no, why bother? You don't need those. And I don't often let the more whimsical side of me come out to play. But she did. And she said, go ahead, try them on. They'll look great on you. And I did. And they did. Now, I'm not a person who goes looking for attention. But let me tell you, when I wore those magical yellow boots, I got a lot of looks and a lot of, where did you get those? I love those boots. And I would just beam and I'd take in all those accolades because I loved my boots too. And I would wear them every chance I could get. I felt amazing wearing those boots. It lifted my spirits when I wore them. But you know how you kind of get that tingling in the back of your mind that's why the questions, and I was puzzled as to why these boots would make me feel this way. It obviously didn't make any sense. Now, around this time, I began to have moments of inspiration, usually during my morning writings. And this is where I began to understand all the times I began again and again to experience second chances. It would take me a few years to figure this out, but this is what I discovered. There are times in my life when I took leaps into the unknown. And it seems, as I recall and look back, that they happen in 15 to 19-year increments. I don't know why, because we could be karmic or cosmic, but this is what happened, what I realized about myself. So there were about 5 major times in my life that really impacted the decisions to jump into second chances. And when I took the leap of faith. Now, like most people's beginnings, when they start doing the deep inquiry into themselves, they begin to find things about their youth. And we begin to remember our life learnings in our youth. So this began to happen to me when I lived in Canmore, and I had a memory. It was from my childhood. It was so clear, I didn't really know if it was real or not. And I really wondered why I hadn't remembered it before. But it happened. And I was around 2 years old. And I was dressed in a pretty little dress. I was a tiny little frame of a thing. You could blow me over in the wind. And my mother made all of our dresses for my 2 older sisters and me. So I was wearing one of our pretty little dresses. Outside playing, I don't know, I wouldn't have let my daughter do that, but it happened. And I began to look out through the eyes of this little girl. And I'm looking around, and we're on our family farm. And there's no one else around. Maybe the older kids had gone to school. Maybe my mom was in the house doing mom things in the early 60s. And my dad was probably in the field or looking after animals. So I realized that I'm there and I'm all alone. And then in my image, I float up and I look more closely at this little frame of a girl. There are tears streaming down her face. And the feeling is so, you could tell by her face, so deeply saddened and so very frightened. And I float back into myself and I feel those dramatically. And then I look down and I look at my feet and I realize I'm standing in a mud puddle. And you know that prairie clay, it's pretty darn sticky and it was pulling me down to the earth. I am stuck and I can't move my feet. And then the image disappears. You know, it's a real quandary when you have these things happen because it kind of replays in your mind. You can't quite figure it out. I'll tell you how I did that in a little bit. Well, let's fast forward a little bit. I am 15. I am a tenacious, determined little, I was a handful. But I was determined to leave the small town school that I was in. You see, over the summer, I lost a very dear friend. She died of brain cancer. And another one was moving away. And I began to feel alone again. And I felt really stuck in that small town school, the small town mentality. So I was very clever. I artfully convinced my parents that I could, at this age, move into the city, live with my older sister, and go to a much larger school that would offer me so many more choices. What I know now is that was my first real growth experience. Second chance to begin again. And what I didn't expect was how I would have to learn everything from scratch and how scary it would be. And it was tough. I had to learn how to make new friends. I'd gone to school for 9 years and with the same people. I had to learn how to take the city bus, find my classrooms down the all too many halls when I was used to just going to one classroom for the full day. I also learned how to skip class and go to the local shop, the coffee shop with my new friends, and how to drink coffee without throwing up, how to smoke cigarettes without throwing up, and how to be with boys. But that's another story for another day. I ain't going there today. So it was terrifying all of a sudden. It was confusing all the same. And it was lonely. And when I found myself in that state of being so lonely and feeling these confusing thoughts, I would go out the back door of our apartment building in Lethbridge and walk out into the coulees. Now, the coulee hills are for those that don't know, they're the big hills that form on the side of the riverbank. So they're big, big hills. But I'd go out there and I'd sit and I'd contemplate and I'd cry. And more than once I'd ask myself, what have I done? What have I done? Why did I do this? But it was already too late. I couldn't go back. I was different now. And this would be kind of the beginning of many new beginnings that I would initiate and second chances that I'd leap into. Now we're going to go forward a little further, and there may be parts of this story that might be familiar to some of you, but I'm 35 now. I have 2 small children. I'm working full-time as a personal banker. I'm working the second full-time job on our working hobby farm, growing organic vegetables for sale, cows, 60 to 80 hens, cleaning eggs, washing eggs. It was a lot. Be going along. I thought I was doing really, really well, but I didn't know. And I did really well until I broke. And I really unconsciously, it totally was, that I fell into this deep, dark depression. And when I talk about this, I used the frame that my mind switched off. It just turned off, and it was automatic, and it was just happened. And I know now that was my first experience with emotional depletion. I thought I was acting fine. I thought I was being fine, but I was acting normal. I wasn't really fine. And I guess in reality, I was really stuck, confused. I was ashamed and really didn't know why this was happening to me. So, but that anger kind of crept in there a little bit too. Until about 6 months later, it switched back on again. Not fully awake, not fully aware. I was kind of in this quasi semi-awake state. I knew I was different, but it was a weird feeling that wouldn't go away. There was anxiety and angst. And it went on like this for a while until I made a leap away from my professional work. I walked away and quit my banking job of 20 years. That was followed by another 4 years in an accounting firm to give myself a second chance to find a career that was more suited to who I was now. And I was different, and I had other gifts that I had to offer now. I'd learned, I'd grown. And it was in this space that coaching found me. So I took a couple of years and I certified as a professional coach with Erickson College. I felt like I was on the right path. I wrote and hosted workshops and training developments and coached managers and executives and their staff. I certified again in emotional intelligence, and I was building a really successful practice. I was just loving where I was in life until a little divorce, a little event, a little event called divorce happened, and it happened. Well, they do. I took a leap away from what had become a really lifeless, loveless relationship, but I had to protect myself and put myself first. But it still felt like I failed. I still felt shame that I wasn't able to make the marriage work, and fear of not being enough. But I knew all the same, I couldn't remain stuck any longer. I had to give myself that second chance at loving myself, which is when I moved to Canmore. The intention being for 6 months to heal, the practical me, that would be all it would take. Hey, guess what? I spent 10 years there. Yep, mucking around in the hills. But this is where I wrote my first solo book. This is where I met the new person that I'm spending my life with. I eventually burned my email list, closed my coaching practice, and locked out my website. This is also where I found the courage to take myself halfway around the world to retreat in Bali at the end of February 2020. Yes, the world was closing down and I was in Bali. But one of the experiences that I had there, and I had many, is where I experienced breath work for the first time. I was hooked, totally hooked. So when I got home, I found a teacher. I certified as a breathwork practitioner. I took the advanced course, and just by chance, it's where I found my yellow boots. You know those ones. So here I am today. I am different now, and life is calling me forward once more. I can feel very deeply there's a change coming, and there's going to be another leap of some kind. I can't tell you what it looks like because I don't know yet. But I can stand here knowing who I am now. I'm an author. I'm liking the speaking. Is that grammar correct? No, I do love to speak. I'm a breathwork healer. I now practice Reiki. Alex and I have built a beautiful new home in Okotoks where we live, and I'm different now. And that question that I asked before, why these yellow boots are so important to my journey, is pretty clear today. And you know, that Friday morning when I woke up, last Friday morning, like a few days ago, with that terrible, terrible dream, when I woke up feeling frightened and overwhelmed, and damn, there was people there I don't even like, and I don't know what the hell they were doing in my dream, but they were there. Obviously there to teach me a lesson. But so I did what I do on most mornings like that. I get up and I take out my journal and I begin to write. And that didn't last very long before I heard the words, "Go breathe." So I did. I surrendered to it and I lay down to breathe. And there in my session, I saw that 2-year-old little girl again, stuck, standing in the muck, crying alone. Ooh, yes, a little emotional. But this is what I heard. Just take off the boots and walk out. Take off the boots. Just take off the boots. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? How easy could it be? But then I understood. The boots empower me to listen deeper, listen more carefully. And you know, that next level learning, the onion peeling till you have that gem in the middle. Yeah. The boots are the gift of understanding, and in a way, they kind of represents all the shadows that I carry. The anger, the self-doubt, the worry, the pain, confusion. The boots are not there to hold me back. They're there to teach me and to heal me and to show me, to point me in the new direction, in the correct direction, perhaps, of my next grand adventure, wherever that's going to be. So every event that I walked you through here today they were not mistakes. They were not put there for me to feel failure, even though I did. They're part of my life plan, my life path, and my adventures so far in my life. So that I might give you and have this experience with you here today. Now, I don't know about you, but I've heard those same words from a multitude of inspiring people. It's your path. Everything that happened in the past, it's there for a reason. Well, those words seem to float and flutter around me, and they did not sink in until I actually experienced them for myself. So you and I, get to take second chances. And if you're like me, it's 5 or 6 or 10 or 12, I don't know. But we get to let go of shame, the illusions of fear and failure. We get to let go of feeling unworthy, the doubt, the confusion. We get to take those second chances that allow us to live a more fulfilling life. We get to take off the boots. And I'm reminded now, this is why I love breathwork so much, because I've had many such realizations, and it's kind of like magic. But second chances are life affirming, life giving. My boots have a new purpose. I get to use my boots metaphorically, physically, in reality, and step out of them. Step out of the shadows that appear to form in the form of anger, emotional exhaustion, overwhelm, sadness. And I get to use them when I'm not taking care of myself, as a reminder of when I'm not putting myself first. And then I get to use them again and again and again to be realigned, rebalanced, refocused, re-engineered, and learn how to honor myself again. And to blend all those past experiences in my past with what's coming in the future. I get to take off my yellow boots and be very grateful. I went into that small, tiny shoe store in Canmore on that winter day when I was so captivated by those boots. We all get to leap and take a second chance when it's given, because you never know where that will lead you when you take that chance in an inspired and new, innovative way. Overall, my intention here today is to inform and inspire you to move in those new and innovative ways when second chances come calling. So I hope I've done that for you. And I want to leave you with a bit of a mantra that helps me when I'm out of sorts. And I need to reassure myself. And it goes like this. I get to begin again with ease and grace, aware and open, acknowledging I am different now, accepting that there will be missteps, anchored in truth, trust, and faith, confident, calm, and clear. For this is the place where harmony happens. Thank you for listening.
Wow, that was amazing. You are such a fabulous storyteller. Hey, shall we show them the boots?
Yes.
I didn't know when you wanted me to show them, but all right, you guys, are you
Neither.
ready? Those boots are amazing. I want a pair. Hold on, where is it coming? There we are. Look at this. How fun are those? Definitely make a statement when you're walking around in your yellow boots. Are you still wearing them?
Oh, yes. They're outside my door.
I love it. That is so fun. I love wearing a pair of bright shoes like that. Like it makes a statement. I know when I did the Women Talk convention, I have a pair of these sparkling pink shoes. that make me laugh. They're just crazy. Like sometimes they're, did you feel that about your boots? Like they weren't really you, but yet
Uh-huh.
they're so you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
I love this. I'm just gonna switch this to gallery mode. All right. Thank you. That was inspiring. That was beautiful. I connected with many parts of your story. It
Yeah.
was, including the boots. I think you've heard my story about my go-go boots. That, as a kid, I've always said that should have been the first sign from my mom for her to know I was gay because I thought I was so excited. I thought they were wrestling boots. It's always made me laugh. All right, does anyone have a question for Teresa? Everybody can unmute themselves unless there's a lot of noise behind you. But does anyone have a question for Teresa or a comment? All
Teresa,
right,
it was
Simone.
just so
Oh.
great. Sorry, I just started talking.
Yeah, no, go for it, Jill. It's all good.
Yes, thank you, Teresa. Like you made me tear up. This just the simple statement of just take off the boots. It was just top to bottom shivers, right? It's so simple. Just step out of that fog. Just go. Ooh.
Yeah, that was really good. And what about you, Simone?
Yeah, I was just gonna thank her, and same thing. I can relate to so many things, and even just putting high heels and going out makes you feel so different. Like shoes can make such a difference in your life, different
Yeah.
shoes and stuff.
You know what's really interesting is not as much now, but back in the day when I first came out, like shoes were a really important part of being gay. I know that may sound funny, but if you think about it, like, the joke about the comfortable shoes and stuff, like it's like, I think there's something about like we're talking stilettos or like they're really high heel. I find that in a way it's very sexy, but it also makes you weak. Like if you were ever to have to run to get away from something or someone and you're wearing those kind of shoes.
Oh no,
Like-
you can turn around and hit pretty good with them.
Yeah, like as if you take it off and whack them. Is that
No,
what you
even
mean?
with them, no, with them on. Part of my Taekwondo was fighting in your shoes. And
Really?
yeah.
Anybody else has a comment about the high heel shoes? Yes, Connie.
I just wanted to say I wore space boots back in the 80s. I was really into punk rock and the B-52s and Devo and all that. I had these space boots. So I remember walking around in those. And yes, I do believe in second chances. I think that's why I'm walking the Via Francigena. I'm getting a second chance here.
Oh, that's lovely. I love it.
Yeah, but thank you. That was great.
I know it was wonderful. I'm just looking. A pair of red shoes. Grace, tell us about your red shoes.
Well, when my husband transferred us from Calgary down to Kansas, friends of ours had a going away party for me, and they gave me red, sparkly, high-heeled shoes so that I could click my heels and say I wasn't in Kansas anymore, so it would make me come back.
So what did
And
you
I
do
have
with the shoes?
cherished them forever.
Do you wear them? Do you wear them?
No, they're too high. They're like,
I
I'm
think they
afraid
make
I
a
might
good.
fall off them.
Oh, like it would not be pretty to watch me walk in a pair of those.
No, I could wear them when they first gave them to me. I could wear them. Now, no.
Amazing. Tracy.
I was just gonna say, I'm probably gonna give away my age here, but I remember when I was a teenager, I had a pair of those Pepsi shoes. They were running shoes and they had like a wedge heel with stripes. I felt
I
like I
remember
was
those.
like the bomb when I was wearing those stupid shoes, and I'm surprised I didn't break my dang ankle. But yeah, they were like the shoes to have, and I was so proud of them. And I was so mad when I grew out of them.
That's funny. You know what? Like, shoes are quite it just gave me an idea. We're going to do an event storytelling about shoes. Because I bet you there can be a ton of stories about shoes. All right. I have a poll. Hold on here. I'm going to open it up. And a couple of questions. Do you guys see the poll? Yeah, answer the question. So if someone bluntly lies to you, would you give them a second chance? Like when you know they lie, you knew they were bluntly lying, would
Oh,
you give
Bridget,
them?
you need a third answer. It depends on what the subject is.
Yes.
I know, but I'm just making it simple. I'm just wondering if you are the kind of like how people, yeah, look at that. It's all yes. And have you ever felt that something and never given yourself a second chance at it? Let me see where we're. Oh, so I'm really surprised about number one. I guess I'm a hard ass. This is really interesting. 7 out of 8 people said yes, they would give somebody a second chance. Let me just end the poll here and share the results.
Wow.
So that is fascinating. And everybody has felt that something and never given themselves a second chance.
You know, Bridget, when you when I was answering the first question, the first thing that came to mind was my son. And he would have been about 10 or so. And he came up to me, he says, Mom, how do you know I'm always when I lie to you?
And what did
And I
you
said,
say?
well, that's easy. That's just part of being a mom. I can tell exactly what you're up to.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like, I don't know that it's a thing for me. Lies is like my kids know, you know, and like my son is as honest as it gets. Like he's brutally honest. But I love that about him, you know? And but I don't know, like really you would give like if you know like I mean, I'm not gonna never talk to them again, but if you bluntly lie to me, like it's not cool.
I agree. It
I'm
depends
a
on the
hard
si-
ass too. I'm sorry, but
Good
somebody
job, Grace.
lies. Trust has to be, it takes a long time for that trust to come back for me. If
Yeah,
somebody blatantly lies.
yeah.
Yeah, to me, it so depends on the situation. I
Exactly.
mean, if your ex is, I mean, not ex, he's an ex now, but if your significant other is out saying he's just having fun, but he's with somebody else, and that's a lie, there's no second chances
Yeah.
for that, for
Yeah.
me. But if, you know, if someone tells me a white lie or whatever, or stretches the truth or omits something, it all depends on the scenario. If it's something small,
Yeah.
then
I think I take a lie though as a lie.
yeah.
And white lies and half truths are different. But a lie is a blatant lie. That's the way I took the question.
Yeah, and then like I say, it all depends. Mine
Yeah,
is
like little
mine is always
nuances or, you
I'll give you
know,
a second chance, but that's it. You lie to me a
like,
second time and you're out. No
yeah.
ands,
Like,
ifs,
you
and
know,
buts.
if you're gonna lie about your spaghetti sauce that you put small
Yeah.
chopped up onions in it and you don't tell somebody because they're not gonna eat it if they know there's onions
Don't
in
tell
there.
Bill.
And I had a student, you know, she stole from me a couple of days ago, and I don't, you know, I have a hard time with that one. Somebody I mentored, and she, you know, she stole $40 out of my wallet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now I
Yeah,
can't
like
trust her.
that breach
know.
of trust is a very difficult one. I do have a funny story. My ex, we had a friend coming over who had gotten like a very drastic haircut. And she's like, don't you dare tell her that you don't like it if you don't like it. And I'm like, well, if she asks me and I don't like it, I'm not going to tell her I like it if I don't like it. Like, I just can't. I just can't do that. I cannot. Like, even these little, I mean, you know, I'm sure I've done some white lies along the way, but if you ask me for my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion. I'm not going to give you what you want to hear.
I
Okay.
think too, when someone lies, I think it changes how I engage with them. You know, now I,
The
have
trust?
a lesser trust,
Yeah.
or I'm more cautious, or, what I'm going to believe from them or something. But I think it changes me, right? How I interact.
So true.
Good point.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a story about trust and being honest and all that good stuff. I have 3 boys, adults. My youngest is 45. and my second to oldest is 48. And 5 years ago, my second son, Sheldon, left his wife and he'd been seeing another woman. And it was the most difficult, heartbreaking event to me at that point, because I'm so adamant that you have to be honest. You have to tell the truth. And cheating is a big lie. And you know what happened for me? I wanted to continue loving my son. I didn't want to give up on my son, but I had to figure out how I was going to love him again. And there were two things I had to do. I had to realize that I was actually judging him. I didn't know what the circumstances were, and I had to forgive him. Hardest thing I've ever gone through. Up until 3 months ago, my youngest son, 17 years married, started cheating on his wife. And I have to go through this whole process all over again. I don't know why God put them in my life, and they are good, honest people, but they are finding themselves in situations with women, and their marriages are done. It's been the hardest thing. So it's really changed my view of people. Why are they lying? Why are they not telling the truth? And who am I to judge them, to eliminate them from my life?
Yeah.
Tough thing. It's
Yeah.
not what I intended on sharing here this morning, but
Wow.
Teresa, that was a wonderful talk. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, that's a thank you, Lauren. Wow, that's heavy duty for sure.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of emotions in there. Sometimes, people are not ready to talk, but I think if you're confronted, are you cheating on me, and you say no, that's where the lie is. I think sometimes you're like, have to process a lot of, a long marriage like that. So, I can see not saying it maybe right away, but if you outright lie, then that trust is broken. But we all go, their life changes. I have a question. Have any of you ever given someone a second chance and it turned out great? Let's hear it, Grace.
Well, my mother used to always say to me, I always said that I was very good with my intuition, and I would judge very quickly. And my mother used to always say, no. You always have to, you can go with your gut, but you always have to give somebody a second chance. And actually, you're going to laugh when I tell you this, but it was my husband that I gave the second chance to. When I met him on a blind date, and I wanted nothing to do with him at all. And I judged. I said, no, something about him. I'm not in the mood. I don't want to date, whatever. And for 3 months, he called me, and I made my sister answer the phone and say she's not here. And one day my mother walked into the room and said, whoa, took the phone away from my sister and said, if you're going to lie to someone, you lie to their face. You don't get your sister to do your dirty work. And I got on the phone and said, oh, hi, I just got back. And I think that was the only time I ever lied to my husband outright to his face, when I said I'd just gotten home. And he asked me out, and I went out onto a date with him, dated him for 3 years, and we were married for 43 till he passed away. So I would say definitely you need to give people a second chance.
I love it. Thank you for that, right? I think most of you know, I've just gone through a divorce, so I'm getting into that dating world, and it's like, oh, it's like crazy. And it was funny because I met somebody in San Francisco, and hold on, yeah, it's kind of like odd. And yeah, because like this like second chance, you think it's it or not, or it's sometimes like following your intuition. is great, but maybe you just need to give it a second chance, even though you think
Yep.
it's not. Anybody else has a story that they've given someone a second chance and it worked out great? Yes, Jill.
I've always got stories.
Love
Yeah,
it.
so-
That's what we're here
I love
for.
So the second chance was myself, actually.
Mhm.
So years ago, when my children were small, we had taken them to Callaway Park, just outside of Calgary there. And there is a Ferris wheel there that has like the cars look like hot air balloons, you know, and this is the kiddie Ferris wheel. So I'm horribly terrified of heights. And I'm on the Ferris wheel with my husband, and my kids are probably like 6 and 4 and 2. And I had to have the operator stop it so I could get off. Because I was seriously having a major panic attack. My kid would move at all, and I'm just like terrified she's gonna fall out. And
Oh, no.
anyways, he stopped it graciously, got my balloon down to the bottom, and I got off. Well, anyways, the rest of them continued to have a great time. And so it was years later, like maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, that I was at a conference, and all of the attendees, we were broke down into teams, and it was kind of a scavenger hunt that we were supposed to do, to like go find this and go find that, and then, you know, be back here and we'll rate the team's success on what they did. And but there was only one rule: have fun. So our team gets together and we're like, has anybody ever gone to Callaway Park? Yeah, I've been there, whatever. You know what? One says, I've never gone on the roller coaster and I've always wanted to. I'm going to do that. I was so scared before and I'm going to do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you pushing me to do? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it out there. I'm with a group of friends I trust. We are told to go have fun. And we didn't do the scavenger hunt. We were in Olds, was where this conference was. So it's just down the road a little ways. And we used our time to go to Callaway Park, and every one of us had a thing there that we were conquering. And so I'm like, guys, I can't go on the kiddie Ferris wheel, but I have to. I have pictures. Me and my little buddy were on this Ferris wheel, and I did good. It was fine.
That is funny. The kitty's Ferris wheel, Jill.
Love that.
I didn't know.
You know what, honey? I think I need to
Good for
take you
you.
skydive. I need to take you skydiving.
You don't.
No, Jill, I'm there with you. I couldn't do it.
I love it.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. The
It is, good
kitty
for you.
Ferris, and it's so tiny.
I know,
It's not
but I
very
got
high.
so accomplished. That was a big deal.
Love it. Way to go. Love it. Love it. Okay, I have another topic. How much time? Oh, we got 10 minutes. Okay, I have a really interesting one because I have an interesting story about it. Have you ever given food you dislike a second chance and liked it? Simone, and then Tracy.
My dad used to eat blue cheese all the time, and I couldn't even be in the room. And now I crave it on everything, and I have it on my steak marbleized. Best thing in the world.
Love
And
it.
yet,
Ooh.
for like till I was in my 30s, I would say I couldn't stand the smell of it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Tracy.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit because I still can't stand blue cheese.
Oh, I love it.
Maybe you're not
Talking
old
about it
enough.
brings up that smell, and I'm like, "Ugh."
Maybe you're not old enough.
Yeah, exactly. But I am 55, and I only started to eat mushrooms probably. You know how they say that your taste buds change and they regenerate I think it's every 7 years or something goofy like that. I have always, okay, I'm going to try mushrooms. I'm going to try mushrooms. I'm going to do it. And I kept trying them through, and it was like, no, can't do it. Can't do it. Probably about 3 years ago, I went out for Chinese food and they were in my combination plate. And I'm like, wow, these are good. Where have they been all my life? And so ever since then, I'm a mushroom liker. But it's like, okay, what's up with that? That's just so weird.
Tracy, excuse me,
Yes.
but what's behind you on the wall?
It's my tapestry mural.
Uh-huh.
Looks
Yeah,
like mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Exactly. They're toadstools. Those are
Oh,
toadstools, people.
Good eye, Teresa. Well, I have a funny story about food. So I love spicy food. I put Frank's hot sauce on my popcorn. Like I love any kind, like sriracha, like anything spicy. Like not crazy spicy, but I love spicy food. But I never liked pepper, black pepper. I never put it on anything. I just didn't like it. And I didn't know why, but I just didn't like it. And a few years back, I'd say 10, 15 years ago, I was talking with my mom and we were talking about childhood memories. And she talked about, so my brother and I are 13 months apart. I was the firstborn. He was born 13 months later. My mom was 19 years old, no, 20 with two babies. And anyway, I had a suitor and I would carry that thing everywhere. I would wake up for it. Like it was driving my mother nuts. And she's like, that's it. This suitor has got to go because she's got two babies, right? And of course, I wouldn't give it up. So one day, in her brilliant thought came to her to dip it in black pepper. And I put the suitor in my mouth, and Mom said I was so mad that I threw it in the toilet and flushed it.
Right.
And you know what the funny thing is? When you learn the why, then it was like, oh, and then I started eating black pepper, and I like black pepper now. Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
Any other food stories that you didn't like and then you tried it again, Connie? Looks like you're eating right now.
I am. Yeah. Yeah. Ever since I went on Weight Watchers 5 years ago, I stopped eating like, cheese. I'm allergic to it anyway. And I stopped eating pizza and all those highly carb meals. And I took a bite of an In-N-Out burger like a month ago, and I hated it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I used to eat a lot of beef and pork and everything, and now I can't even stand the smell of it.
I have to, I'm going to post it on my Facebook so go look me up, but I'm going to post a video for you. There's this French guy from France, very, very French, and he moves to the US and he's dating people, right? And like first date, and he meets this girl who tells him that she doesn't eat carb, and he's like, what? How can you not eat carbs? Like that's life. It's like, croissant. And then she tells him she doesn't drink wine. And he's like, oh la la, that's it. We are done.
Oh man.
It's hysterical. I'll post it out there for you guys. And I'm the same. Like, if you're not gonna, I'm not a big wine drinker, but no carbs, no wine, no cheese, you're out. Any other food stories?
I was gonna say, next month I'll be 4 years no drinking.
No drinking for 4 years.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah,
you. That's difficult.
It is.
Yeah. Any other second chance story that anyone? Oh, look at that, the coffee, Jill. Yeah, coffee. You know what? I never drank coffee till I was 50.
Oh wow.
I really do think that your taste bud, like us, my son, if we're going to go down the food thing, we called him a white food racist. He will only eat white rice, white pasta, white sugar, like anything that has any kind of color. Wait, it's like broccoli and cucumbers is like, the broccoli's pushing it sometimes. It's like, oh my gosh. But tell us about the coffee, Jill.
Well, I know the reason I couldn't stand it is because of my father. And we don't have a good relationship, and there was abuse there. And my father would often get me to get his coffee, make his coffee. And just the smell of coffee was repulsive to me forever. So it's quite a triumph, actually, that I enjoy it now.
Amazing. You know what? The sense of smell is extremely powerful. More than anything else, it will take you back to Teresa, you're muted. It will take you back to your childhood in a jiffy.
It sure will. It sure will. And for me, I don't know how it works, but smell and memories and places seem to all mix into one, and I can place myself where I had the smell and the experience. It's quite bizarre sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Extremely powerful. Yes, Grace.
I was going to say, yeah, I had that problem with Brussels sprouts. The smell of them cooking, it's like cooked cabbage. I don't like the smell of it. And then I was in a restaurant actually in Tennessee, and one of the fellows from our company said, "Oh, you got to try Brussels sprouts." I said, "Oh, don't know." He said, "Oh no, in this restaurant, you got to try them." Well, they bake them with olive oil and bacon. Fabulous. And I came home and said to my husband, who did all the cooking, "I love Brussels sprouts." And he said, "Are you kidding me? I have not cooked those for how many years because you can't stand the smell." And I said, "Well, it had nothing to do with the Brussels sprouts. It had to do with you didn't know how to cook them."
So you're going to give him a second chance to make it your way.
Yeah.
Now I love them.
Love it. Yes, Simone.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, for me too, peach. Bridget and I were actually having this conversation yesterday. The Tang that used to come in bags, Mom used to bring peach flavor all the time, and we ate so much of it, like just with our fingers, that I can eat peaches now, but anything flavored peaches, juices, anything, I just can't. Like, just the smell of it makes me, yeah. And then alcohol too, gin. I know we were grade 10 one time, and there was this sounds really bad, but we took a punch bowl and all the leftover drinks and put it, and all there was one bottle of gin. To this day, I can't smell gin, look at gin, nothing.
Oh, I love gin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that memory, right? Of
Yeah,
them, so.
you will. Like, certain smell are so powerful. It's incredible. Anybody else has a smell like
I got one more.
yeah, go for it, Connie.
Yeah. Last week at school, somebody ordered a spray bottle from Amazon that smells like shit, and they sprayed the whole hall with it. And I called the office and said there was a plumbing leak. And so they sent everybody up there to look at everything. And then they discovered that spray bottle on a student, it smelled like farts and stuff.
Oh
The
my
whole
God.
hallway, the whole building, in fact.
Yeah, no, that's pretty amazing. So this is your last chance. Anybody else has a story of a second chance that was given to them? Terry, you haven't said anything. Heather, any stories you would like? Any comments? You don't have to. Just giving everybody the opportunity. Lorraine, yeah, you're muted.
Yeah. When I knew that I was coming into, I just had no stories. But my story about second chance is the sunrise. Every morning is a second chance for all of us. So
Love
if you follow me on Facebook, I almost always have a sunrise picture from my vantage point.
Put your link in the comment right away before we go if you have it handy.
No, of course.
But I love this. That is so true. And Teresa, I will give you the last word of this fabulous event.
The last word.
About second chance.
I think it's all about honoring our true selves. And when we can do that and really come from a place of inner knowing, we step into those second chances. We can take the risk that might come along with it. And you can design whatever it is that's about to unfold for you. So go forward with truth, trust, and faith. And that's about all I know.
Thank you. Fabulous advice. Take a second chance, you guys. That's what I'm doing. Women Talk 2.0. That's my second chance, and I'm loving every second of it. Thank you for being here today. I hope that you come back. I hope that you consider becoming a member if you're not. And this was fantastic, Teresa. Great, great story.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank
you, everyone, for being here. Have a fabulous Sunday.
You
Bye-bye.